Broadcasting from the KC Coyote Studios, you're listening to Kearney Live on 102.7 KPGZ. Kearney Live is presented by Kearney Trust Company. Kearney Trust, 310 West 92 Highway in Kearney. The phone number is 816-628-6666. And now here's the hosts of Kearney Live, Mike Davis and Jim Dickerson.
And welcome to Kearney Live. I am your host, Mike Davis. Jim Dickerson is out on assignment. Not really. He's flying an airplane.
That's an assignment.
Right? He soars like an eagle. You know, and actually, I have flown with that man, and I know somebody else that has. And Brian's got his mic on. Brian, our general manager and producer engineer of this program. Brian, didn't you fly with Jim just a couple of days ago?
Well, just a couple of weeks ago, we flew around Excelsior Springs and Kearney.
Was it a jetliner?
Not quite.
I think it was a
It was a 5x5 space with wings is what it was. A propeller.
Yes, indeed. Anyway, we love Jim, and Jim is out for the day. I have two wonderful guests. I would say, Brian, would you call our guests angels?
Yes. I think Kearney angels.
Yeah, they would do angelic type things. They're with the Kearney Family Foundation. I've got Linda Roberts and Kellie Robertson. Welcome to the show, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Well, we are glad to have you. I am familiar, as I would imagine, many of the folks here in Kearney, Missouri, are well familiar with the Kearney Family Foundation. Look, we know they began in 2003. They were founded as a 501c3 not-for-profit organization. But that all sounds kind of technical. And Linda, you and I were talking just moments ago off the air, and you had a real interesting story that I was not aware of, and I would imagine many of our listeners don't know. How indeed did the Kearney Family Foundation get started?
Well, it's a fun story to tell. I'm happy to tell this. Kim and Steve Thorne started Kearney Family Foundation, but it all started when they had an amazing new baby boy, Jack. Mm-hmm. And Jack was Down syndrome. And they lived in Utah, and the Down syndrome organization asked them if they would adopt a family. And Kim said, sure, I will. And if you know Kim, she goes far beyond just sure. She organized her neighborhood to have and raised $5,000 in 4 days, and they adopted 15 families.
And this was when they were in Utah.
This is when they were in Utah.
Yeah.
Then they moved back home. They were both born and raised here. They moved back home, and after their first Christmas, Kim asked her son, Nate, who was 8 years old at the time, Nate, how was Christmas this year? And he said, Mom, we didn't adopt a family this year, so it wasn't as good as before. He says, we need to adopt families.
From the mouths of babes.
And Kim said, okay, next year we'll do it. And there it started.
That was the impetus for the very beginning of Kearney Family Foundation. Kellie Robertson sitting to my right. What do you remember, or I guess when did you come on board? First of all, let me just ask you that.
You know, it's interesting because none of us know how many years we've been on the board. We have no clue.
Well, there's a question that won't get answered.
Well, I started from the very beginning.
Yeah, I think I've been doing this for about 8 years, and I started out, their shop and wrap and deliver. I just went in. I didn't know anything about it. I wanted to help people in my community, and I was overwhelmed with how much was going on and how many people were impacting other people's lives.
Right.
And I just loved it.
So each year, just to point out to our audience that during the holiday season, the Kearney Family Foundation and tons of volunteers come together to benefit the citizens of Kearney, many of whom are in need, and that's always something that surprises me when I hear that. I mean, you see a community like this that, presumably everybody's doing just fine, and you just don't recognize that there are folks who are in need, particularly during the holidays. And so when you mentioned wrapping and so forth, tell me about how that whole process works. It's gift wrapping, and tell me how the whole process works.
So essentially, like counselors and teachers can nominate families. If they see a child in need in their district or in their school, they can anonymously nominate a family.
Right.
And then we contact the family and ask them if there's things that they need. And if they are in need, then we put a list together based on their family size and what they need.
Right.
And then we adopt as many families out as we can, and we order, 3 months supply of food and toiletries and cleaning supplies. And then what we don't adopt out and get, we send out shoppers.
Very good.
It's the first Thursday in December, and we will have anywhere from 300 volunteers coming and
That's
packing.
amazing.
Yes.
Just amazing.
Yes. We have volunteers that work in the warehouse and pack food and toiletry items. We have people who come to the house to go to Walmart and shop for the list of the people that we didn't adopt out. And then we have people who just sit around and wrap.
Very cool. And Linda, I think that was one of the things that you were getting at when we were off the air, that there were some certain qualifications. While I recognize, that it's very important that all of the families who receive help are kept confidential, but there are some sort of check boxes that, I guess, qualifiers for those families in need. How do you determine if they're qualified, how do you indeed say, yes, this family qualifies, we need to help them?
Well, that's all determined by the school district and the school counselors. And they send us the forms of the people that they feel really need the assistance.
Right.
And then we contact them, like Kelly said. We
Right.
call them. There's only a few people on the board that call. So nobody knows who they're shopping for.
Right.
Nobody knows, all they know is the age of a child and their sizes.
Right.
There's no names. And so there's just a few on the board that call the moms or the dads to get their information.
Yeah.
And
then there are lists of standard items. I mean, I understand there are very specific items for children, like gift type items.
yes.
But what are the standard items that the families need?
Well, the standard, I can see the form in my head.
I can imagine.
Starts with shoes, socks, underwear, pajamas, coats, hats, gloves, T-shirts, and jeans.
Right, all the essentials. Yeah.
Essentials.
And that's it. And then if the child has particular needs, we'll ask, are they have a disability where they need a certain type of something?
Yes.
And the moms or parents will tell us that.
Right.
And then we try to throw in like a fun thing, like a family game or a family movie, just something fun for the family.
And those are things that you would just sort of intuitively know, or that you ask about, or is that kind of a surprise item generally?
Usually, yeah. Unless they have a specific, like she said, like if a child has autism and loves Legos, we'll try to throw that in. Yeah.
Linda, you told me you've been there since the beginning, which was 2003.
Yes.
So that's, if I do my math right here, that's about 16 years, right?
16. So, I've been helping Kim for 17 years.
Well, there you go. Did I get my math wrong? I did. We try not to do math on the air around here. I think that's typically, we avoid that, don't we, Brian?
Yeah, we don't do math anymore after the big fiasco.
I remember that. That was a year or so ago. Yeah,
it was, and then we haven't done it since.
The school board was.
We're not going to start.
Yeah, the school board slapped our hand. They said, you guys need to get back in school.
Yeah, they were not proud of us.
But knowing that you've been with the organization this long, I'm sure you've seen just tons of things and tons of good that's come from this organization, Linda. I know one of the things that I noticed in some of my research this morning is there are a number of local entities who provide resources for the Kearney Family Foundation, and I'm talking about some pretty heavy hitters, some large companies that can actually and do regularly provide help. And I see a couple of them on your website, which, by the way, is kearneyfamilyfoundation.org. If you're curious and you'd like to learn a little bit more about the Kearney Family Foundation, please go to their website. Follow along with us during the show, if you would. And we are on right now on the resources page. And I see Walmart, Hallmark, and, of course, the Kearney School District. And I would imagine there's a host of others. Tell me about some of those.
Well, the school district teachers, they donate out of their paychecks monthly.
That is crazy. That is the kind of giving till it hurts hearts that the people of Kearney have. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I find that when I hear, people on teachers' salaries shouldn't be giving their money away.
But teachers teachers are the ones that see the need.
Isn't that amazing?
They see
Yes.
these kids come in with
bless
holes in their
hearts.
shoes and
Oh.
no coats. And so they're the ones that know that there's a need in Kearney.
All right. So getting through that, that just touches my heart when I hear things like that. Anyway, sorry, Linda, go ahead.
That's okay. Anyway, we're so grateful to them, but we get that check every single month from them. And then we have Hallmark, who donates all the wrapping paper, all of it.
There it is.
Boxes and boxes we get from Hallmark. Not only that, but they bring loads of boxes of toys, stationery. What else, Kelly?
Socks, you name it.
It's like Santa.
Mom gifts.
Ornaments.
Yeah.
Just whatever they have in their store that is an excess, they box it up and they give it to us. And it's unbelievable.
No, it is. It truly is. And it seemed like there was another one you mentioned before we started the show.
Oh, Chamber of Commerce.
There you go.
Chamber of Commerce is awesome. Every month at their luncheons, they donate. And every month I get an envelope to deposit into the bank from, the businesses here in Kearney that they do that monthly.
Man, that is just terrific. And I know, as a matter of fact, as members of the chamber, we as we see during the monthly luncheon, I said munching luncheon. Must mean I'm hungry. But I know that we pass around a little jar at the end of each of the meetings, and everybody pulls a little what I call pocket folding money out, and it always it used to surprise me the amount of money that we would raise on a monthly basis, for the chamber. In the interest of Kearney Family Foundation, and but now not so much. I see it month after month, and I see other areas of need in the city above and beyond Kearney Family Foundation where folks just are so willing to give. But indeed, thank the Chamber of Commerce for I think remembering the Kearney Family Foundation every month.
For sure. Yeah, we really appreciate the assistance that we get from them.
Yeah, absolutely. And you had something there Linda, I could see you. There's something there that you had on your mind there.
Well, we can't forget Walmart.
Well, of course. I saw them on here. Yeah. They are the world's largest retailer. So, and how can they be forgotten?
So we used to shop at the Liberty Walmart. We shop at Excelsior Springs Walmart now, and they both were unbelievable. But Walmart also gives us a grant each year also.
My goodness.
Usually it's around somewhere between $2,000 or $4,000 to $4,000.
Right.
But then besides that, we buy all of our food through Walmart.
Yeah.
And they volunteer a driver and bring a huge semi. It used to go to the Thorns garage. Now we go to Rocky Brock's warehouse. But
because you have that much foods and gifts and things.
Yeah, $30,000 usually worth of food.
Oh my gosh.
And then we have all these volunteers that show up, school sports teams and community people, and to unload and sort all that food.
Right. Yeah. It is a logistical, I guess it's a good problem to have, but it's a problem nonetheless. You have to solve it. So you got a bunch of people there helping you out. One of the things that this reminds me of, the Kearney Family Foundation is operated. The whole operation is run by generous local volunteers, and these are people who give their time and other resources basically to meet the needs of others and sustain this operation, which I find just fascinating. That this is not. You're not paying salaries here. The motivation for most people to show up for work is that you get a paycheck. But in this case, it is to do something good for someone else. I mean, where do all of these volunteers come from? You're talking about sports teams and all manner of folks that are there to help unload trucks. Where do these folks come from?
Well, the Kearney girls basketball team comes and wraps, the boys tennis team, the boys basketball team, swim team. Like, we just get the student councils at the schools collect the toiletry items and the canned goods. The people just come from everywhere.
That's amazing. Yeah, and really without, it sounds like without prompting. I mean, it doesn't sound to me like you have a whole lot of trouble finding people to help.
No,
Well,
not really.
everybody's, groups are always looking for a way to serve
Mm-hmm.
and teaching children, our kids to serve.
Right.
And it's the perfect way to do that.
Yeah, it sure is. I want to come back. When we come back, I'm curious how we made some connections with these major donors like Walmart and Hallmark. But let's come back and talk about. We're visiting today with the Kearney Family Foundation. We've got Linda Roberts and Kellie Robertson in studio with us today. You're listening to Kearney Live. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Kearney Trust Company is uniquely Kearney. They opened their doors in 1882 and have been financing goals and dreams ever since. Kearney Trust has a team of experienced lenders and a qualified staff to assist you with all of your financial needs. Your success is their priority. Whether you're looking for traditional checking and savings services, or you need cash management, mobile banking, mortgage, or lending services, Kearney Trust will provide you and your business with the resources you need to succeed. Information, speed, and convenience are all valuable commodities in our fast-paced world. For Kearney Trust Company, technology is an addition to, not a replacement for the personal banking relationship they like to have with their customers. The people of Kearney Trust Company focus on and try to fit the needs of all their customers. Kearney Trust Company is your partner for success with two convenient locations in Kearney at 310 West 92 Highway and 701 Walking Drive in Price Chopper. The phone number is 816-628-6666. Kearney Trust Company. Banking you can trust. Member FDIC.
And you're back on Kearney Live. I'm your host, Mike Davis. I wanted to mention, too, that the sponsor of this program is Kearney Trust Company, and I want to thank Scott Middleton and all of the wonderful people over there at Kearney Trust for sponsoring this program, because it allows us to do exactly what we're doing today, which is visit with folks like the Kearney Family Foundation. We have Linda Roberts and Kellie Robertson in studio with us today, and we're talking about all of the wonderful things they do. And I got to tell you, I don't imagine that these people would just walk around town and talk about all the wonderful things that the Kearney Family Foundation does. So that's one of the reasons we have you on the air, so we can ask these questions and we can find out and we can educate folks around the community as to really what the Kearney Family Foundation is, what it does, and the amazing number of people that volunteer to help so many. Linda, when we left, took the break a minute ago, I wanted to get back to the whole idea of these, what I call heavy hitter donors, like Walmart and Hallmark, and of course our local Chamber of Commerce and the school district and so forth. But you started telling me a really interesting story about the local Walmart over there in Excelsior Springs. Tell me about how they provide, either one of you, tell me about how they provide the help and some of the special things that they do during the holiday season.
Well, the Walmart in Excelsior, they get ready for us. They are very excited to see us. This
is the holiday season.
This is the holiday season,
right.
Correct.
So it's crazy busy in there.
Exactly.
Everybody's coming to Walmart and doing layaway and doing all kinds of things for the holidays, and they're preparing for the Kearney Family Foundation. Tell me about that.
They buy extra. They know that we're going to need snow boots and kids' shoes and coats and, all those things. And they get prepared for us. And they open up their garden center for us, and that's our checkout. We don't have to stand in lines. They have their volunteers come in, and the manager's always happy to see us, and they make cookies for us. They have snacks for our shoppers, and they're very gracious and wanting to help the community as well.
So, and Linda, I think this had to have started a number of years ago. That when you went to the Walmart store, and did they just sort of stumble on you and see a bunch of elves going around the store to find these?
We look like elves,
right? And or did you actually go to them with a proposal? How did that work?
Well, I think from the beginning, we started just going to the Liberty Walmart and shopping.
Mm-hmm.
And then it progressed from there, where they realized what we needed and prepared for us. And I don't remember. We talked to the managers. We're coming.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be buying. These are the things that we're going to, the necessities:
Mm-hmm.
shoes, socks, underwear,
Mm-hmm.
pajamas, coats, jeans, T-shirts.
Right.
And that just went from there.
Right.
It went from there.
So they obviously, it's been long enough now that they expect you, and it's a bit of a routine. But they obviously saw the need, and they saw that there were some things that they could do to help you, especially during the holiday season, which is a crowded store, and you're buying a ton of stuff for a ton of people, and you don't have to stand in line at a cash register. They make it easy for you to get in and get out and get all of those items to the people who need them.
Yes, they do. They even have extra people there for us that day,
Oh, wow.
walking around helping our shoppers to find what they need.
Mm-hmm.
And we have volunteers that do that too,
Right.
from Kearney Family Foundation, that walks around and tries to help us too.
Right.
But in the beginning, we, the very first few years, it was like started out with just 10 families. And now, they prepare last year in 2018, we assisted 141 families.
Wow.
And so that included about 600 to 700 people.
Wow. That's fascinating.
So, so we've had to coordinate with them.
Right. Yeah.
More so over the years as the family amounts that we assisted grew.
Mm-hmm.
And it grows every year.
Mm-hmm.
Every year we get larger and larger.
Right. I guess there's a couple of things I'd like to know. Number one, where the volunteers come from. We've talked a little bit about that, but I do know that if you want to volunteer, it's real easy. Go to the KearneyFamilyFoundation.org website, KearneyFamilyFoundation.org, and you can go to a link that says how to help. Imagine that. Mm-hmm. And you can sign up right there online. So I got that part. But I'm also I'm curious. How do you know how many people you can help? I mean, I guess obviously it's based on revenue, on how much you have to spend. But where do you draw the line? How do you? I mean, that's the part that confuses me a little bit, because you've got a selective process in which folks in need are qualified, and certainly the school district takes care of that. But then, I mean, it's got to be hard to say we can't do any more. We got to stop.
We actually had an issue this year. We had a board meeting,
Mm-hmm.
and the need had grown.
Right.
And we didn't have sufficient funds to meet the need. And we were discussing whether we were going to cut, a certain number. We were going to have to eliminate so many, not be able to help as many people.
Right,
And we know
yeah.
each year the numbers grow. So we always used to try to have an extra revenue.
Right.
And then we would base it on how much we spent the previous year and try to, we knew it was going to grow a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So we sat around and we talked, and we're like, no, absolutely not. We're not going to not help people. If
Right.
someone needs help, we've got to figure out a way to raise. I think it was probably in June. Don't you think, Linda? It was in the summer. And we needed this money by October because we had to buy our food. We had to have our food orders in.
Right.
And so we were brainstorming. And I was like, you know what? The people in Kearney, they want to help us. They want to help families. Let's just go out. Let's do a corporate sponsor T-shirt. Let's go out to these businesses and just say, donate $200. Donate, have a tiered level. And we raised the money. We didn't have to turn anyone away this year.
Right. That's the spirit of Kearney and folks right here in the Clay County area. It's the sort of thing that we see on a fairly regular basis here, but it's neat really to see it in action. I can imagine, Linda, as you've worked over the past 17 years with the Kearney Family Foundation, you've probably seen a lot of generosity.
Well, I have to say that it always works out.
Yeah.
And if I can say this, God always provides.
Sure, you absolutely can say that.
Because Kim Kim and I for years, she does a budget. And so we go through each family the night before, and we add up what their needs are and how much it'll be, and she writes a budget. And then when those shoppers go out, they have a budget for that family. And literally every year she is right on. I mean, the budget works out perfectly. Sometimes we have $26 left over. But there's always enough for every family for their needs every single time.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. I said, you were angels. I told you, you were angels. I knew it when you came in. And really, it just is, it fascinates me, even though we see it, as I say, on a regular basis, to see the kind of help that, and volunteerism and the spirit of giving that we see here in Kearney. You mentioned, I think it was you, Kelly, you said there's a coat lady. You referred to her as the coat lady, COAT. Tell me about that. That's another little angel.
She is an angel, and for many years, nobody really even knew her name. Like, 'cause she would just show up with these coats, brand new coats that she started getting on sale throughout the year. And I sorted the coats this year, and there had to have been 50 coats.
Right.
All different sizes. She doesn't know what sizes. She doesn't know what kind of people are going to be coming through, but she just gets, whatever she can find, 2 toddler, extra large adult, whatever. And these coats are amazing. And, we have cold winters here.
Yep.
People need coats. It's a necessity. And it's a blessing to have her do this every year for us.
No doubt. Do we know her name at all, or does she want to remain anonymous?
We call her Patty the coat lady.
I love it. Patty the coat. Thank you. Patty the coat lady, if you're listening. Well, that's just wonderful. And again, one has to wonder, how did she find out about the Kearney Family Foundation? What on earth, prompted her to do this generous thing? I think that's the cool thing about this organization.
Yeah, it's all word of mouth.
Right.
We don't really advertise. It's just, hey, come, I have this thing I'm volunteering for. You want to come help me? And that just grows from there.
Yeah.
We also have our sweet board member, Mickey Torres, who always fills in with the shoes and boots that Walmart doesn't carry, like sizes that they don't carry.
I see.
And she'll see the need and go, Walmart's not going to carry that. And she goes and she buys all these shoes and boots for,
specifically like work boots, men's work boots.
Yeah.
You can't get that kind of thing, like steel-toed work boots at Walmart. You have to get them
in a size 14.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, triple E
right.
or something.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Or T-shirts and sweatshirts that are in those like 3 or 4X things. She's bought those many a time.
Right. And she just out of her own pocket just says, I'm going to go do this thing. Yeah.
But also I wanted to mention that kind of need to say is that talking about the school district, the teachers, they're amazing.
Oh, man, yeah.
They also said, hey, we want to shop and wrap, and we can't go on Thursday during the day. And so we started years ago, Wednesday night is teacher shop nights, and the teachers of the school district go, and they shop and wrap, and it's fun, too.
Oh, they have so much fun doing that.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool? I have to imagine there are probably some stories while we recognize the confidentiality of some of the folks who have benefited from Kearney Family Foundation. I'll bet you've got a story or two of of some folks that have had some, that they've been that it changed their life at Christmas time.
It does, and I had a mom that I was speaking to. Again, this is all anonymous. I don't know her personally,
right?
And I said that someone had referred her, and did she need assistance? And she started crying. And she said, no
crying on the radio.
Seriously. I know. And I'll probably cry
gosh.
talking about it.
Right?
Yes. But she said, I'm sure there's someone else that needs it more than me. And I said, well, someone thinks that you need help.
Oh, boy.
And her, without going into details, she was in a situation where she became a single mom of 3 little boys, all under the age of 5.
Oh, my.
And I'm like, well, do your babies need diapers? And she said, yes. And she said, I always volunteer. I'm like, well, you can still volunteer, but if you need assistance, this is what we're here for.
Right.
And she just said, I'm so grateful. She started crying, and she said, I really do need help. I need formula for my babies, and I just can't believe I'm in this situation. And, really, we came at a really good time for her.
Yeah, sounds like it.
And we got her through the holidays. And again, I'm sure she comes and volunteers every year. Because she's so grateful and
pays it forward. Right.
For sure.
It sounds like she was paying it forward before.
She was.
Yeah.
Yes, and she didn't think she needed the assistance. She thought there was somebody that needed it more than her. And I'm like, well, if your babies need clothes and shoes and diapers, then you're in need.
Oh, my. Yeah. I love those stories. You got another one there. I know you do, Linda. I can see it. I can tell you can hardly wait to tell it.
We've had so many miracles happen.
Right.
I just can't even begin to tell you all of them, but I remember a couple of them. One of them was this happened to Kim, and it was a lady who wanted to donate, and she wanted to help so much, but she didn't have any money. So she said, I have this brand new, beautiful, expensive porcelain doll, and I'd like to donate this porcelain doll. And Kim thought, what am I going to do with this porcelain doll? And then a couple of days later, one of her neighbors called and said, Kim, there's these people that are living in a trailer out in a field, and their little daughter, she's 9 years old, and she's always wanted a porcelain doll, and she's never got one. And Kim was, oh my gosh.
What are the odds? Yeah.
Things like that have happened just so many times.
Right.
So many times where we have something. There was also a story about a 19-year-old boy that was taking care of his siblings. And we called them, and he said, I just got a job. I think we're going to be okay. We won't need help. I have a job now. And he was pressed, well, there must be things that you need.
Right.
And he's, and we already knew that they were in desperate need of coats and gloves and shoes.
Right.
We already knew that. And the boy, this 19-year-old boy, he asked for toothpaste and dish soap.
Right. That was it.
That was it.
It's mind-boggling. It really is.
And food stamps don't cover toiletry items and cleaning supplies. You can't, if you're going to try to decide where you're going to spend your money, food or toothpaste, you're going to pick food.
Yeah.
And that's what we try to provide that as well.
Right.
Oh, there was another thing that I just thought of.
Bring it on.
There was this one time where we accidentally double bought for a family. Remember that, Kelly? And they were adopted out, but somehow their name got on a list to shop for also. So we had double of everything. And somebody called, what was it, Kelly? Somebody called and said, hey, we have this family. It was at the very last minute.
I think it was one of the counselors at the school said that they had this family came out, and I think the dad had just lost his job or something like that. It was just sudden. It was a sudden need.
But it was a last minute one.
Yeah.
And if you can believe this, all the kids' sizes were identical to the sizes that we'd bought for the family that we had double bought for. Exactly.
Another miracle right there. And again, you have to ask yourself, what are the odds?
I know.
Of things like that happening.
And it happens all the time.
We get kind of numb to it. Like, we're just like, of course God's taking care of this for us.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. He knows that those people needed help, and that's just what happened.
And these are the kind of stories, I mean, that you don't hear them this time of year, that you hear these around, the holiday season at Christmas time. But man, when you hear it now, it's almost more impactful.
I know.
I have a friend that's a counselor at one of the schools, and she said that you always know the day after delivery because the kids come in and they have new stuff on and their faces are lit up. She's like, you know that these kids have been impacted by this because their demeanor changes. You can just see it in their faces that they've received something that's special, and
it brings their dignity back.
It does, and it's things that most people take for granted.
Sure.
I mean, my kids don't appreciate their underwear and their socks, and I mean, these kids, those are needs to them.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
And many times, I've answered the Kearney Family Foundation phone, and during shop wrap and delivery day or the next day, and a mom is just sobbing on the phone with gratitude.
Oh my.
And saying, you can't even believe
Right.
what this means to us and how much this has helped us, and they get 3 months worth of food and the toiletries and the cleaning supplies, let alone the gifts for the children, the clothes for the children.
Right.
And just sobbing, and you just can hardly talk because you're sobbing with them.
Sure. How fulfilling that must be. I can imagine that there are others in our community, in the Kearney community, in the Clay County area. You said that they have to be students in the Kearney, or have to live in the
Kearney School District. Yes,
Okay,
live
okay.
in the district. But it's not limited to just children.
I see. So I can imagine, though, because I see it here on your website that there's a place on here to request help. So somebody somewhere is falling through the cracks. that would it indicates to me anyway,
Right.
that the school district doesn't find all of the people in need.
Yes.
Yeah.
That has been kind of an issue. We've addressed it at board meetings, like how do we reach, especially at the secondary level, the kids in the high school, they're not seeing the counselors. They're coming in one class, the teacher sees them for an hour. And we were like, do we walk around these neighborhoods handing out flyers? Like, we don't really know how to reach those kids. We know we're missing several. Yeah. And
Right.
we're still trying to figure that out, I think.
So Kelly, you looked over at Linda, and Linda was shaking her head yes, like you had an answer to that. Like there was. So how do you find those people? I mean, we talk about human dignity. We talk about folks that are in need. I'll tell you what. I know we're coming up on a break. Let's go ahead and take our break now. Let's come back. We're visiting with the folks from the angels from the Kearney Family Foundation right here on 102.7 FM. You're listening to Kearney Live. We'll be right back. Please stay with us.
Kearney Trust Company is uniquely Kearney. They opened their doors in 1882 and have been financing goals and dreams ever since. Kearney Trust has a team of experienced lenders and a qualified staff to assist you with all of your financial needs. Your success is their priority. Whether you're looking for traditional checking and savings services, or you need cash management, mobile banking, mortgage, or lending services, Kearney Trust will provide you and your business with the resources you need to succeed. Information, speed, and convenience are all valuable commodities in our fast-paced world. For Kearney Trust Company, technology is an addition to, not a replacement for the personal banking relationship they like to have with their customers. The people of Kearney Trust Company focus on and try to fit the needs of all their customers. Kearney Trust Company is your partner for success with 2 convenient locations in Kearney at 310 West 92 Highway and 701 Watson Drive in Price Chopper. The phone number is 816-628-6666. Kearney Trust Company. Banking you can trust. Member FDIC.
And we're back on Kearney Live. We're talking with the folks from the Kearney Family Foundation here on Kearney Live, 102.7 FM. Appreciate you all being with us today. Linda Roberts and Kellie Robertson are 2 of the angels from the Kearney Family Foundation with us today. And we were just kind of talking about those folks that sometimes fall through the cracks with an organization like the Kearney Family Foundation for all the good that they do. There are still people out there in need, and while we have help from the Kearney, Missouri School District, they are able to sort of pinpoint some of those folks and some of the kids and the families that in the school district who need help. But there are others, and you were mentioning a couple of them off the air. Kelly, I'll go to you because I think one of those stories was quite touching to me, and let's just share that one with our audience, or both of them for that matter.
Okay. Well, we had an anonymous request to help a disabled veteran. His wife had just passed away, and this person was very concerned about this man and asked us to reach out to him. And she said, he's probably not going to accept help, but I'd like for you guys to reach out to him. And
Right.
so I called him, and I was, said somebody, he wanted to know who it was. And I'm like, I'm sorry, it's anonymous, but someone really cares about you. And he was really down on his luck. You know, he's living off disability, and he denied help at first. And I was like, well, sir, do you need a jacket? You know, it's going to be cold this winter. He's like, yeah, I don't really have a good winter coat. Okay, how about some snow boots? You know, it's going to snow. And he's like, yes, please. And he really just needed the food. You know, that's really what he wanted. And he was just someone to talk to, and to know that someone cared about him. And I could just feel his spirit lift throughout the conversation. And he was just taken back that we had actually, you know, took the time to call him and see what he needed and see if he was okay. And, you know, I never met this man, but I think that we probably made a difference in his life and made his Christmas a little brighter, you know? He's probably not so lonely knowing that we cared about him.
All through an anonymous donor. Linda, there was another one that we talked about too, and now it's escaping me. I forget things these days.
Well, we have, amazingly enough, we have a lot of grandparents who, for whatever reasons, have to take in their grandchildren or want to take in their grandchildren. I shouldn't say have to. Right. But most of them just live on their Social Security or a very small pension. And so we're always really happy to be able to help these grandparents. And
and you mentioned, that they were, their income, their sole income is their Social Security benefit. And that doesn't go very far.
No, it sure doesn't.
When you're talking about a family of grandchildren moving in with an older retired couple who's living off nothing but Social Security, then that doesn't go very far. So then that's really the kind of thing that the Kearney Family Foundation really hopes to find and wants to serve. I mean, those are needs that need to be met. I will say that if there's anyone out there that that you know of, that families, individuals that might need help that are in the Kearney, Missouri School District area, you can go to the website here, the Kearney Family Foundation website. It's kearneyfamilyfoundation.org, and click on the link that says Request Help. And it's as easy as that. And I would imagine that anonymous people could say, hey, here's a name of a person on that link.
That's right.
Yes.
Right?
Or, they have to be in the Kearney School District. They have to live in the Kearney School District.
But not necessarily have kids in the district. They're just folks that live in the school district area. Is that right?
Well, I mean, if we get an exception like this disabled veteran who lives in the Kearney, we try to specifically help people who have children, because we want to make sure that someone's not like a step parent or a dad who doesn't have custody of their child and their kid lives in another state. We got to make sure that the kid goes to school in Kearney. We have to make sure that they're an actual resident and they're not.
Of course.
We really try to make sure that the money that we collect and we donate, everything goes to people in Kearney.
Yep.
We don't want it going outside.
I can see that. There's unscrupulous people out there. I get it. So yeah. So you're careful about that. But I would mention nonetheless, though, that it's real easy to do, and we all have to sort of look out for each other. And I think being vigilant for those who are in need is a good thing. And so if you see that sort of thing, KearneyFamilyFoundation.org is a really good place to start. There's also a phone number that you can call, and I think I had it down here, 816-628-5421. Did I get that right?
Yes, that's the Kearney Family Foundation phone.
Right. So that'll get you, in all likelihood, Linda, you might answer the phone.
Well, that's actually set up in the Thorns house.
Oh, I see. So. Okay. So in any case, it'll get them that phone number. Let me give it again. It's 816 and 628-5421. 628-5421. And specifically, I guess, for anybody in need. But we talked a little bit about our human dignity, about how hard it is to ask for help, even if you are on your last dollar, and to be able to it's tough to ask for help.
It is. We had a mom who had cancer. She was a single mom, has cancer, lost her job, atrocious medical bills. And, situations like that just come up, all the time. Or, parents that have lost their jobs around the holidays and are just looking for a job but not quite got one yet, that, they just need the help just through that Christmas season or.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's an expensive time of year. even if you don't spend a lot of money on Christmas, it's extra money to be spent that people would like to spend, particularly on their children.
Right. A lot of people are one crisis away from bankruptcy, at times, like an illness, like she said, cancer, or getting unemployed, or, somebody's grandkids coming to live with them, or, like I said, we had that foster family that took in all these siblings. They weren't planning on that.
Mm-hmm.
They just, out of the kindness of their heart, took 5 or 6 siblings, and those children came with nothing.
Here's a silly question. Would you take a financial donation?
Of course.
See, I told you it was silly. I told you it was.
Silly.
Well, there's a way for folks to donate, and I'm about to click on the donate link on KearneyFamilyFoundation.org, and let's just see what happens here. Ta-da! There is a button right there on the page that says donate, and it has a whole list of, you can use PayPal and any of the common credit cards, but I would imagine that I'd like to think that there are some folks today that, as they hear this show, that they might think that you know what, even $5 would go a long way to helping some people, and those $5 bills add up. And if you're thinking about just a little something to kind of add to your, it's a 501c3. Which is a corporation, which means it is tax deductible. And if you're thinking about a way to sort of manage your next year's tax return, this would be an excellent place, I would think, to donate some money for a wonderful cause. I mean, the kinds of stories that we've heard here just over the last 45 minutes or so are enough that I would think that you'd be motivated to sort of help out this fantastic organization, the Kearney Family Foundation. They've been around since 2003, but started with just an idea to help people in need in, frankly, another state. And what a neat story, that you told. You got something there, Linda, I can tell.
Well, I just wanted to let everybody know that because we're talking about ways to donate.
Right.
There's several things, like as you said, the website or on our Facebook page, and also send a check to Kearney Post Office Box 391. But also, the schools, they have food drives, they have penny drives, they have all kinds of drives during Red Ribbon Week.
What's a penny drive?
Well,
they collect coins. Like the students, each day they have a competition. And the students, each school has a competition, whether it be
love that.
Their toiletry items at the high school and the junior high and the middle school, it's cans. Elementary schools, each school has things that they collect for us. So cereal,
Very cool.
non-perishable food items. And then they also have like coin drives where they try to collect as much money. And it adds up. Like we've gotten, $3,000 check from an elementary school where the kids raised that much money.
Just from... emptying your penny jar.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the class that raises the most, they get a pizza party and things like that.
Well, at Dogwood, the principal usually does something silly, like they got to put a pie in her face. Like the schools really jump in and help us.
Yeah.
Right.
But we also have other things in the community. Stables, right now, they have a drive going on where the second Wednesday, second Wednesday of August and September, all the money not all the money, 10% of the food money that they get for that night is donated. 5% is donated to Kearney Family Foundation, and 5% is donated to the Kearney Food Pantry.
Very cool.
So Stables does that, and that's for September, August and September.
I believe they're calling that second Wednesdays.
They call it Dine to Donate.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Dine to Donate.
I knew there was some kind of a clever sort of, moniker.
They have a band. They have a band.
Well,
and
of course.
all kinds of fun stuff going on. So.
Well, that's a neat idea. And so it's not as if there aren't folks out there that recognize, that don't recognize the need. I mean, obviously, there's the people are familiar with Kearney Family Foundation, but I think the stories behind it are what I find, so incredibly touching. And, as we sit here and talk about some of these things, you forget that there really are people out there in need, and that, times of need sometimes just sneak up on you. And, I think you mentioned earlier, Kelly, that sometimes, bad things happen to good people. You run through a bad patch of luck and losing a job or something like that it's unexpected, or unexpected medical bills, then there are good people that are going to need help. And just think about folks like that, and that there are times when here's an organization, the Kearney Family Foundation, that right here in Kearney, Missouri, that is reaching out and saying, we're here to help our own here in this community.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And and also they can adopt a family. If somebody wants to adopt a family, that helps us a ton, because that's one less family.
I had that on my list. I think that is of my questions here. Like, we started talking about some of these other things, but I think that's a really neat idea. Let's talk about that. How do you adopt a family?
Well, you can, on the website, you can sign up to adopt a family, and then you set your budget, what you think that you can spend, and then we match that budget up to a family, and we give, we'll give the people that are going to adopt, the sizes and the ages and their needs.
Their list of needs.
Yeah. And then they will, they'll go out and shop anywhere they want to.
I see.
For those things, and they bring them back, and
we pack it up with the food that we've collected. And
and Kearney Family provides the food and the toiletries and everything. They just do the clothing things. Mm-hmm. And that helps Kearney Family Foundation so much. Yeah. Sometimes we have 50 families adopted out, and it helps. You can't even imagine how much that helps.
We even have a few businesses that do that. Like instead of a Christmas party, or as their Christmas party, they go and they shop and they get items for a family, and they bring all the things in as a company.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I've seen that done in another city where I worked. Absolutely, that was very cool. Yes, yeah, what a neat idea. In fact, if you're thinking of what to do and how to celebrate a business around the holiday season, that'd be a good way to kind of stretch out a little bit and do something a little bit different.
There's so many businesses here in Kearney that donate so much money. It's just mind-boggling. And then there's a few organizations. One comes to mind, the Kearney Green Thumb ladies group. They have they sell plants, and they'll donate what they earned, from having a bazaar or whatever,
right?
And send me they'll send us I'll get a check in the mail, for some, several $100s. And so they could also do that if they're at a work group, or they have a church group, or some kind of a group that they could organize and have have some kind of a fundraiser. There's all kinds of ways to be able to.
There's a little girl that just started making jewelry recently.
We had her on
Faith and Moxie.
Kearney Business Spotlight.
Yes. She's 10, and she donates 10% of her proceeds to us.
Right.
I mean, there's so many ways that people can give back to their community. It's just simple, and if a 10-year-old can do it, anyone can do it.
No doubt about it. She was adorable, by the way.
She's so cute.
Yeah, in fact, she's even running a spot on the radio station. Brian's shaking his head. Yes, I'm not making this stuff up. I'm here to tell you. What are some of the other things? What are some of the needs that you have, if you, I guess, operationally, that is there anything that you need? I mean, for crying out loud, do you guys, maybe you guys need something. You need some help. You need volunteers. What if right now I said, What's tops on your list that you could use?
We always need volunteers. Like the weeks leading up to our delivery day, we're up all night. I mean, we have jobs. We all work. Yeah. But we're up all night doing things, running, because the board members, we're the core of the foundation, and we know kind of what's going on. And if the volunteers are tired, they go home. We're still up. We're still organizing and sorting, and
like angels and elves. Yeah.
But I feel like we're always in need of volunteers, and money is always, big for us, donations, because, inevitably we're always going to be helping more and more people each year. Our community continues to grow.
Yeah. Now, in terms of volunteers, is that something that you need now, or is it more seasonal as we get into the holiday?
It's seasonal. Yeah. Like the Saturday after Thanksgiving is when we unpack our food. We always need volunteers to unpack the truck and sort the food, and then really the week of, the 2 days before.
Right.
But if you get on our website, it shows you where you can volunteer, and then we'll send out emails alerting you of like what we need and when we need you and how to sign up. And
Okay, and that's KearneyFamilyFoundation.org. And you also mentioned there's a Facebook page, so I imagine just get on Facebook
Yes.
and look for Kearney Family Foundation.
Yes.
You'll find it.
yes, and there's always updates on our Facebook page.
Okay, so that thing is something that's monitored on a regular basis. So if there are needs, I would imagine that you're gonna post them on Facebook. So if you're not following the Kearney Family Foundation on Facebook, please do. And then, of course, don't forget KearneyFamilyFoundation.org for all manner of donating and requesting help, for other resources, and then certainly a contact page. And we mentioned a phone number a little while ago, 816-628-5421. That's, I just love the sound of that, 5421. It sounded reverse sequential at first, but then all of a sudden, I don't know. You raised your finger at me again, Linda. What did I do wrong this time?
Nothing, but
Oh,
I
good.
just want to make sure that we say thank you to everybody in this community
Right.
who has given so much
Right.
time, money, help, love, the bonds that we've made and the friendships that we've made serving together.
Yes.
It's just, you can't even describe that. And
You can feel it. I guarantee you can feel it.
And we just
Yeah.
love everybody that's served with us and for us. And we're just grateful. And we want to say thank you to all of those individuals and businesses that have given so much
Right.
for so many years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No doubt about
and
it.
I
Well
invite-
said. Well said, Kelly.
I invite everyone to come out and just see what we do.
Yeah.
Come that day. Come to our shop, wrap and deliver, and just see how many people.
How do you do that? Where are you located? How's this work?
Well, we have 2 different locations.
Okay.
And it'll be on our Facebook page and our website. But it's the warehouse is one place where we're packing and sorting food, and then we also have the location where we're getting the packages ready to be shipped out to be delivered. And it's just a really well-oiled machine with all these wonderful volunteers from all around, just putting their heart and soul.
I love the sound of it. I really do. What an amazing organization, and what a terrific hour we've spent today with the Kearney Family Foundation. Linda Roberts and Kellie Robertson, thank you so much for being with us today on Kearney Live. We sure appreciate you both for everything you've done, the time and effort you've put into what you're doing. And we love, love, love the Kearney Family Foundation. KearneyFamilyFoundation.org. You've been listening to Kearney Live. Thanks so much. We'll see you next week.